All right, hello, beautiful people, back again. Now, backstory: how I met the narcissist and why I'm having to co-parent with him. This is the backstory. This is the next part. Okay, so I left out a part on the last part. I said I was being bullied my whole childhood. I got bullied for my hair. My hair was long. I did not get a perm until I was 16. I had to wear my hair like basically however my mama did my hair, or wherever she said I had to do my hair. Was how I had to wear my hair. My hair got pressed with a straightening comb until I was 16. Not knocking it. I'm just saying this is why I was being bullied, and it was for things that I couldn't control. I did not get a perm until I was 16. I did not wear like, I guess, more mature hairstyles till probably I was like 16 or 17 before I was allowed to wear like a mature hairstyle. Like I had to wear like ponytails and pigtails and stuff like that. Okay. I got bullied for being smart. I got bullied for making all A's. I got bullied. They called me a teacher's pet. I got made fun of because I never went anywhere. I never went to any of the parties or anything. They said I thought I was better than them. All these different things, but these are things that I couldn't control. I didn't have a say-so over where I went and what I did. I didn't have a say-so over what I wore. I got made fun of for what I wore. My dresses were all the way down to the ground. I was not in style at all. So I was bullied and made fun of for that. But like I said, these were things that were not in my control because I didn't have control over what I wore or anything like that. Like I said, made fun of for making good grades. Like I said, when I graduated, I realized I was popular for being different. Okay, so this is my backstory, right? I've been bullied and made fun of, but even though I was bullied and made fun of, my self-esteem was still pretty good. It was still pretty okay. Because the way I was taught was to not worry about what other people thought. You know, I was taught that other people probably are jealous of you. You know, it was different things I was told and things I was taught to help me, I guess, deal with or cope with the bullying. But, I mean, bullying still hurts. So people, if you're bullying people or if you know children that bully, because children that bully grow up to be adults that bully. And a lot of times the children that are bullies, they're being bullied by other adults. So, hope that made sense. I hope you caught that. Now, met him, like I said, all the red flags were there. I had been in Birmingham for about 2 years. I went to Birmingham in 2015 because I was looking for something different. I was looking for a change, so I went in 2015 is when I went to Birmingham. But like I said, I had been working at that school and everything, and I was getting ready to transition from that. So I was going through this whole transition when I met him. And like I said, I was going through that I'm doing me phase. Like the song say, I'm doing me. You know, every song you can think of about, you know, I'm doing me. That was my theme song at the time. Like I said, I was watching Star. That was my jam then too. But anyway, when I first met him online. Not knocking meet people online because it is possible to find people, but I chose the online approach because I kept meeting the wrong type of people. I dated church people. I was married to a church person who turned out to be a mama's boy. That didn't work out, so I knew I didn't want that. You know, so the different relationships I had been in, I've dated a drug dealer. I've dated a big time drug dealer. I've dated a drug dealer that really wasn't doing much. I've dated a church boy. I've dated a preacher's son. I've dated several different people from several different walks of life. Ones that had a lot going for them, very professional. Ones that were like a build-a-bear. I call them a build-a-bear. Ones that need help and they need you to help them. And then once you help them get to where they need to go, then they resent you for it. And then they start saying you think you're their mom and everything. But like literally, you started talking to me on the street that you needed help. But anyway, so, you know, I had been there, done all that. So I was like, you know what? I'm just looking for somebody to have fun with. So he seemed like the perfect candidate for somebody to have fun with. And like I said, when I first met him, we started off talking about health and spirituality or religion, whatever you want to call it. So we would get into a lot of friendly discussions about religion because he was practicing Islam. Notice the air quotes. He was practicing Islam. Okay, so, you know, he was big into health and wealth and fitness and all that. And then I was a entrepreneur, and he was always talking about, starting your own. Like we aligned on several different levels. We didn't get physical until maybe 3, 4, 5 months in. But like I said, before we got physical, all right, so it was kind of challenging and inspiring to me to meet another person that wasn't, Church of Christ, wasn't Baptist, wasn't Methodist, wasn't none of those things, but still had a whole lot of biblical knowledge. So he kind of met me. And it was pretty, when I think back on it, the fact that we stayed on the phone for like hours and hours, like I said, you don't think about how many times a person puts you on hold, when you're on the phone with them. So if you're on the phone with them all day long and they're going about their daily doing whatever they're doing, he was putting me on mute and he was putting me on hold a lot. Like I said, okay, so like I said, we stayed on the phone a lot in the beginning. So these are the things that were red flags. We stayed on the phone all day, but put me on hold a lot. He was a massage therapist. He was a barber. He was also a plumber. Let me see, what else was he doing? Oh, farmer as well. Farmer. Okay, so now these are all the things that, also into fitness, like fitness training, helping you with your weight loss goals and, fitness training and all that. So like I said, me suffering with PCOS, weight loss, it fluctuates if you have PCOS. PCOS is polycystic ovarian syndrome. I'll talk more about that later. But anyway, so literally, think about it. I'm a disabled veteran. I had a very sheltered childhood. I had dealt with different types of guys that I felt like I knew what I didn't want anymore. And I was like, you know what? I'm not looking for a relationship. He said he wasn't looking for a relationship either. I was like, well, I just want to have some fun. He was all about fun. So when we actually first met each other, we literally met at a track, and he was like literally helping me walk around the track. That's how we first met. And then it progressed to, he was helping me with my job. So like when I said that he was always there when I needed something, so why would I think that he was in a relationship with anybody? Excuse me, sorry about that. Why would I think he was in a relationship with anybody if every time I called him and anytime I needed help with something, like he literally was always there? But what I did not realize was that he literally had like a merry-go-round of females, and he basically just shifted everybody around on the merry-go-round. So I found that out later. So fast forward. So at the end of the day, a narcissist is a master manipulator. Not only was he in a relationship, he was in a relationship with several different people. He was in a relationship with both of his children's. I don't like to say baby mama. So he was still in relationships with both of his baby mamas, children's of his mother, whatever you want to call it. He was still in relationships with them, still talked to them on a daily basis. And he had several relationships with about 4 or 5 other different women. And he told everybody that he was not the relationship type. He didn't want to be in a relationship. So, what I was like? I was like, hey, cool. I don't want to be in a relationship either. So this should be a fun fling, fun, good time. So use me as your example. Like I said, I still don't feel any blame or any responsibility. Now, I accept the responsibility that I actually slept with him. Yeah, I accept that responsibility. But it's not my fault that he chose to try to manipulate me and manipulate me and try to, rope me in and reel me in and all that. So that is how we met. When we met, there were several red flags. Several. And I just ignored them because I felt like it was just going to be a fun thing. And I wouldn't have to deal with him for a long period of time. And look at where we are now. Now I'm having a co-parent with him. So use me as an example. Whenever you see a red flag, you need to run. Run when you see a red flag. So stay tuned, you guys, for the next part.